Hey everyone, it's Flakfire. Battlefield 1 has been touted as a frontrunner for Game of the Year, but does it live up to the hype? For this review, I'll be looking at both the single-player and multiplayer aspects of the game. I did not request or receive a copy of Battlefield 1 for review, so these are my honest thoughts about the game. Fair warning, there will be some mild story spoilers. Battlefield as a franchise has struggled with single-player campaigns recently. Some players felt Battlefield Hardline did not fit the Battlefield brand, and Battlefield 4's campaign was largely forgettable and was also riddled with bugs. I'm happy to say the campaign for Battlefield 1 signals a welcome change of pace. It's important to recognize that Battlefield 1 doesn't adhere strictly to historical accuracy. The game is best described as a game rooted in World War I history and technology, with some creative liberties taken to make the experience more modern and enjoyable. Yet developer DICE has taken some painstaking measures to ensure the game highlights some of the most interesting aspects of the conflict. Instead of stretching a thin narrative across several hours of gameplay, DICE elected to work with a series of bite-sized war stories for the campaign. As a result, they're paced well and don't drag at times like past Battlefield campaigns. There are 5 of these war stories and an epilogue that ties them all together. Each war story has a distinct protagonist and plot, and without going into too much detail, each has their own flavor. You'll find humor, sadness, desperation, and even redemption. DICE also did an excellent job with character development, and I'd argue any one of the war stories in Battlefield 1 are more memorable than recent Battlefield campaigns. The settings for the war stories range from the trenches of France to the sands of the Middle East and everywhere in between. Not only does this provide varying environments for combat, it embodies the nature of the first truly global war. While the war stories themselves are fictional, they are based on real situations, real battles, and real locations. Action in the campaign is as explosive or stealthy as you want it to be. In many of the war stories, DICE gives players a choice to go in guns blazing or to dispatch enemies silently. There are many jaw-dropping moments and just as many where you sit in quiet reflection. If I had to pick my favorite war stories, they would be Friends in High Places and Avanti Savoia. Unlike my experience in Battlefield 4, I didn't find any major bugs in the campaign or experience any frame rate problems. If I had any criticisms for DICE on Battlefield 1's single-player campaign, it's that I wish there was more. I don't say this in the sense that I felt there wasn't enough value in the single-player, because I feel that there is. I say it because I am starving for more. The beauty of Battlefield 1's campaign is not only that it takes you so many places, but that there's so many more places you can go in World War I. Now, whether that takes the form of story DLC, which would totally make premium worth the money, or the inevitable sequel down the road, is up to DICE and publisher Electronic Arts. Personally, I'd really like a chance to see the East Africa campaign and German General Paul von Lettow-Vorbeck. As for Battlefield 1's multiplayer, it's everything we've come to expect from the Battlefield franchise, and then some. The game delivers tons of new weapons and some familiar fare. Vehicles like airplanes and tanks once again play an important role in Conquest, as they were sorely missed in Battlefield Hardline. As usual, players can choose from 4 distinct classes, each with specific strengths and weaknesses. The Assault class excels at destruction. The Medic can heal and revive teammates, the Support class provides ammunition, and the Sniper engages enemies from afar. And an interesting change, there are also vehicle-specific classes in Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1's multiplayer modes include franchise staples like Conquest and Rush, but also new modes like War Pigeons and the much-touted Operations mode, similar to Turning Point in Star Wars Battlefront. Operations is without a doubt my favorite game mode in Battlefield 1, and if you're curious what it's all about, I'll put a link to a video on the screen and in the video description. DICE has done a wonderful job in making every experience in Battlefield 1 seem fresh. The additions of behemoths like the airship, armored train, and dreadnought, as well as the dynamic weather system, keep you on your toes. Your weapon loadout that was effective 5 minutes ago may not be the best choice anymore. Environmental destruction has also returned, allowing players to shape the battlefield over the course of a match. The end result is a dynamic multiplayer world where every game seems different from the last. As with any video game, there are good maps, and good guns and bad guns. Part of enjoying a first-person shooter is learning to adapt to the tools given to you. And speaking of tools, Battlefield 1 will soon have free first-party cinematic tools for players on PC and consoles who aspire to make their own fantastic war stories. It's an option I've wanted for a long time, so a big thank you to DICE for listening to their fans. From a technical standpoint, the game's launch has pretty much gone off without a hitch, at least on Xbox One, and I haven't suffered any major server stability issues. I cannot say the same for past Battlefield games. The criticisms I have for Battlefield 1's multiplayer are few and far between. Load times for maps are rather long, and there are some balancing issues that will likely be ironed out in the coming months. I do worry slightly about the endgame for Battlefield 1. I've already leveled up my assault class to level 10, so how will DICE keep the experience fresh and challenging over time? Much of this concern has been eased by the inclusions of medals and challenges in Battlefield 1, as well as the free map Giant Shadow due out in December, but only time will tell. Overall, I enjoyed Battlefield 1's campaign and how DICE seamlessly wove fiction and history into the narrative. It's one of the most unique and interesting single-player campaigns I've played in years, and I have no reservations giving it a 10 out of 10. As for the multiplayer, it's not perfect, but it is the best start for a Battlefield game to date, putting it at a 9 out of 10. Combined, I'd give Battlefield 1 a 9.5 out of 10 as a total experience. A lot of games today seem to ship unfinished, missing features, or a shell of players' expectations. The team at DICE has put together an outstanding product that not only provides the experiences we expect from a Battlefield game, but actually makes attempts to innovate in game design, narrative quality, and even the setting. Battlefield 1 is available on Xbox One, PS4, and PC October 21st. What are your thoughts on Battlefield 1? Is it living up to your expectations? What would you change? Tell me in the comments. If you're on the fence about picking up Battlefield 1, check out the following footage from the game's prologue, Storm of Steel. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, share on websites like Facebook and Twitter, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.
Stay nighty-night and kiss me. Just hold me tight and tell me you'll miss me while I'm alone and blue as can be.
We came from all over the world, so many of us thinking this war would be our rite of passage, our great adventure. Let me tell you, it was no adventure.
Flame trooper! Watch that left side! Airship incoming! More coming in on Open fire! Keep shooting!
New killing machines, like the tank, changed the shape of the war overnight. Luckily, they were mostly on our side. Mostly.
Our boys in the church are overrun. We need to push through. PBI are counting on us. Use the M&G! Sweep the ground! Keep going, driver! That's our fly boys up there! Keep your eyes on the ground, son! They're moving in from the trenches! Use that machine gun! Mow them down! We've got them on the run! Push on! Forward! For Canaan country! We'll change Fritz all the way back to Berlin! You take it! Hold on! We're pushing through! Good job! Let's open a path for our land! Move up with the rest of the armor! Stay focused, men! Push on, damn it! We're almost through! Fire at anything that moves! We're gonna make it! Incoming!
Instead of adventure, we found fear. And in war, the only true equalizer is death. They push. We push. Every once in a while, we push hard enough that the light breaks through the clouds, and a world beyond the war glimmers, just out of reach. The war is the world, and the world is the war. But behind every gun sight is a human being. We are those people. We are the jaded, and we are the naive. We are the honorable and the criminal. We are the bound for legend and the lost to history. We are the knights of the sky, the ghosts in the desert, and the rats in the mud. These are our stories.